Hello, welcome to this week's design. We're going to be designing a website for project management, and we're going to be using Figma, which is an online platform for designing that is absolutely free. So I would encourage you to join me in designing this. So to start us off, we're going to use a frame, and we're going to use a default set one, which is a desktop. That's okay. So the first part we're going to start with is the home page. And to do that, I'm going to start by drawing the background. So I'll start from this topmost section. I'll just draw a simple rectangle. Then I'll click on done. So I'll remove the stroke and I'll place it inside of this desktop frame that we have. Then I'm going to add a fill to it. So I'm going to put in some colors. I'll add a linear scheme, and then I'll put some predefined colors that I had already chosen. That is for the topmost part, and then for the middle section I'm going to add it by clicking here, and this one will have 60% opacity. Click enter to make your entry, and then the last part is going to have this color with 100% opacity. Yes, so this middle section just has a hint of white. I think this position is good enough. Once done, I'll just click outside. So what I want to do is to curve it a bit, but before that let me drag it down. Make sure that this is aligned. So I'll click on this bottom section here, just to make sure that it is aligned perfectly. Okay. Then I want to make sure that there is no space left. There's a bit of a white space that is left, so I'll just drag this out a bit, and that's fine. So what I want to do is now make this center part curved, and to do that I'll use this bending tool here. So I'm going to just raise it a bit at the center. I think this is good enough, or maybe just a bit more. Okay, and then I can elongate it a bit more. So I'll just click done first, and then I'll drag it down from here, and I think that's okay. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add text. So the first one is going to be the home section. It's in bold, it's black, it's using Inter as the font, and it's 30. So that's fine. And then I'm just going to copy and paste for the other sections. We're going to be creating these sections later. That's fine. I can group these items. I want to make them like a bit smaller. So I'll click shift and click on them individually. I'll see, let me see, 25. I think I like 25 a bit more. So that is our navigation bar. The next thing we're going to do is put in our logo, just something simple, nothing too crazy. Okay, Control Z. So I want to make this black, and inside it's going to have the letter A. So capital A, we're going to make it maybe 35 or 40. 40 is a bit better. I'll make it white just to contrast with the background, and I'll bring it here. So I'll just place it above the eclipse in this left navigation bar to make it come in front. We can zoom in a bit just so we can see it better, and we've centered it. So I'll click Shift and then Control and G to group, and that is the logo. Yes, I think that's fine. So the next thing we're going to do is just add text. This is just to welcome the user. I had already written something down, so I'm just going to paste that. And then I'll click Control A and Control B to make it normal again, and then I'll have it as white. I think that's cool. So we just have to resize this. And then the fonts are too big, so we need to make that smaller. So maybe I'll have this in 30. That's much better. So I want this text to be justified so that it fits well. So I'll just come here to these three dots, click that, and under alignment I'll go to justified. I also want to add some spacing, so I'll come to this part here where it's written auto and an A in between two lines, and I'll click 50. I think that makes it spaced out better, so I'll just try and contract this a little bit more, because we also need space for the diagram. And I think that's fine. So underneath this, I want there to be a call to action button, and to do that we're going to create a rectangle. I want it to be rounded, so I'll have 50 the margins, the corner radius, sorry, and then I'll have it in black, and I'll place it at the bottom. I think it's a bit too big, so we can scale it down a bit, and then I'll add the text get started, so in capital, get started, and then I'll have it in white, and I'd like it in bold as well, so Control B. I think that's good enough. So place it this here, center it. I think that's good. Control Shift and Control G. Sorry, not Control Shift, but you press an item and then Shift and another item, and then Control G to group it. So now all we need is a drawing here. So we're going to use a website called Undraw, and I'm going to type in grades here to get a similar picture that I want. I really liked this one, so this is what we're going to be using, and we're going to click on this and download it as an SVG so we can edit it on Figma. So I'll come back to Figma and I'll just drag this image right here. Okay, so let's first scale this image down and then place it inside our frame. That's good. So we want to make it fit our color scheme, and to do that we're going to click on the items whose colors we want to change. So I want to change the shirts these people are wearing and just put black for uniformity of color. So I'll click shift and click on the different shirts because I want to save time and edit at once. And I'll use, well, not really black, but this gray that I have here, 1E, 1E, 1E. So that's the shade that I'll be using. I think it's already looking much better. So then for these little rounded figures here, we're also going to use gray, but a different shade of gray. We're going to use this shade here, that's 3F, 3D, and 5/6. Yes, and that is the image. I think it now looks much cohesive. I'll just add a bit of color, and I can see that we have leaves here, so I'll just click on this and I'll put in a specific shade of green, that I had already picked out. So that is the color that we're going to be using, and I'll just do the same for this other leaf. I also want to paint the veins, so I'll just click on one vein and click shift and the next one and the third one, and I'll do that for the other leaf as well, just to save on time. And then I'm going to use black, which is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then 25% here, opacity. Let's see how that looks. That looks really nice. I missed one, so I'll just use this again, and I'll do the same for this other leaf. So just like that, we are done with our home page. If you want to elongate this a bit more, you can, but yeah, this is the home page. I think it looks okay, and with that I think we can start on the about us section. It's really simple, so it's going to be really easy to design. So the first thing that we're going to need is a header for this section, and we're just going to write about us. Okay, so I'll have it in 80 for the font size. It's going to still be in winter, and it's in bold, and then I'll use an orange color. We're going to use this color here and have it in 77%. Yes, and that is going to be our header for the about us section. And then next we're going to need an image of our worker. So to do that, I'm going to use a plugin that I installed. Oh yeah, it's not in this tab, so let me just install it. So for the plugin, I'm going to use Unsplash. So this is it. We're going to run this. Yeah, and it's here. Good, so it's already opened. So Unsplash is what we're going to use to get our images. Most of them are royalty free, although there are some others that you need to pay for. So here I'm just going to type person, because we're just looking for a photo of a person. And as I was choosing the image, I wanted something that is cohesive with the look that I already have. So I found that this image was going to be really good because it had already a bit of orange, which is something that I was using in my website. So for cohesion, I chose this picture. So you just click on it and it's going to download. So yeah, it came inside this about us section, which is not what I intended. So I'll just click Ctrl Z, and then now I'll click outside of this entire frame, go back to Unsplash, and then I'll just download the image again. So I'll type person, go down to the image, and this time it's downloaded well. So I'll place it on this side, and what I want is a cutout from this. So I'm going to click on the ellipse and I'm going to place it here. I want to cut out this part of the image, I think. So I've already clicked on that shape. Next I'll click on this, but before that I need to send it to the back. It's already clicked now, so I need to just now click Shift and then this background image, and then I'm going to mask it, and I have the mask tool just above this section, so I'll click on that and it's already masked for me. So click outside, then click back again and scale it down. I'm going to need to scale it down so that I can fit it in this section. So you can see it looks very cohesive with the orange that I've already used up there. So that's really nice. I can zoom in for you to see better. So scale it down a bit. So we're going to call this lady Helen from HR. So underneath I'll use a text and I'll say Helen HR, actually head of HR. So this is too large. I'm going to put 20 as the font size. Okay, so I'll just put this below the image, and I think that's okay. So the next thing I want to do is add text right here. There's already some predefined text that I had, and I generated this from ChatGPT. So I'll click Ctrl V. There it is. So what I have to do is just scale it down. I think it's okay. I'll align it to the image. So I don't want it in bold, so I'll click Ctrl B. I'll have the font size in 25 first. Okay, then I can just increase this. Okay. I think this is okay, and I think with that we have the About Us section complete. So this is how our application is looking currently. Not too bad. I think the next section that we're going to move into is the services section. So I'll click on this frame again and just drag it down to a size where I see fit, and this is going to be our services section. So I'll just have it a bit longer, and I think that's fine. Then I'll click on this and just copy it, and instead of having it say About Us, it will be called Our Services. So this is where we're going to demonstrate the different services that are offered. I'll need a rectangle for them. I'll display 4 services, and this is going to have a border radius of 30. And because I find this shade to be too dark, so I'll use a lighter shade of gray, which is F6. So I'll use F6, F6, F6. I think it's much lighter. So to make it pop a bit, I'm going to use some effects. So I'll use a drop down shadow, and I think I'll have 10 here and 10 again, and I think that makes it pop from the screen better. So this is going to be the first one, and we'll model the rest based on this one just to make our designing easier. So for this first one, I'm going to call it easy scheduling. So I'll have all of it in 30, and I actually prefer if it was in caps lock, so have that, and then I'll add another text beneath it to explain. Again, I had already written this before, so I'm just going to resize this. I can increase the size of this rectangle just a bit, so I'll click shift and then one of the corners and just drag it out, and then you can have a bit more room for the words in this section. I think as is it's looking okay, so I just click shift and click on all the items and then Control and G, which is going to group them, and I think I can now begin to copy and paste. So I'll group these two as well, and then move them to see that they fit the center of this page, and then Control C and V and have the others. So I'll just need to increase the size of this page. I'll drag this down. I think this is fine, so I'll just drag this down a bit more, and I think this is good enough. So I'll just begin changing the word. So the next one is going to be collaboration. So that's it, and then paste the words, and then notifications, and center this better. Okay, so I think I need a bit of space, so I want to get this. I want to increase the size a bit more. I'll just drag down that, and I'll do the same here and drag down, and I think that's much better and much more readable. So that is the services section, but it's not yet complete. I feel like it looks a little bit plain, so I want us to add a bit of a design element. We'll use a line, and in this line we're just going to draw like a zigzag. Sorry, actually I'll use the pen, not the line, and I'll draw a zigzag. So that's the first point. Let me have a bit more of a bend. That's the second, the third, and the fourth. and they're all aligned. So I'll click done. So it's more visible. I'll have it in white, but we're going to change the color, and I want it dashed. But before we have it dashed, let's make this part bent. So I'll use the bending tool again. Just give it a nice curve. I think that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. And I'll do the same this side. Okay, now that that is done, we are going to make it have a thickness of 5. So here under stroke I'll put 5, much more visible. Then in these 3 dots I want the line to be dashed, so I'll choose dash as the stroke style with 10 for the dash, and that is it. So I want to use green, the green that we had in this section for the leaves, just to make it more repetitive. So I'll use green there, and I'll just drag it to this frame. So we can see that it's now inside the frame, but I don't want it to display over items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to back. So I'll just right click and click send to back, and now it's under the items. So let me just resize it the way I want to. Place it back inside this frame and then send to back. I don't want the edges to be seen. So what I can do is actually I can drag this way. Let's see if it's any better. I think it looks much better. I can just drag it down a bit. Yeah, I think it adds a bit of flow to these items. So I'll just click Ctrl C and V and have this at the bottom section, but this time I'll have it in orange. So you can choose any of the oranges that you've used so far. I'll just randomly choose that one, and I think that's fine. So at least now it has a bit of dimensionality to it. So yeah, this is what we have so far. We have the home section, the about us section, our services, and now we're moving into the contact us section. So I'll click this again, and then I'll enlarge it, and then I'll just copy the header again and have contact us. It's going to be here. Before I do that, let me just group these items really quick. Just group those, and then this line together with this, and I'll group that. Then finally I'll group this one together, so that if I need to move anything, it's just easier for me. Okay, now we can move into the contact us section. It's going to have a really fun form, just in case you would like to contact the organization. So to do that, I'm going to use a rectangle. I'll draw one here to fit inside this frame, and I'll use the same shade of gray that I used in the contact us section for the little tabs. So it wasn't that one. I think that's it. Let's just see what I used. The color. So the color was F6. So that's what we're going to use here. F6. Yes, this is F6. So as you can see, it's really close to white and it doesn't pop. So we're always going to use a shadow. Before that, I'll just round the corners. So I think we can use 20 or 30. 20, let me see, 30. I think 30 is okay. Then we're going to add a shadow under effects, and we're going to place 10 everywhere. 10 for X and Y, 10 for the blur to make it seem like a real shadow, and then 10 for the spread. And that's our contact us frame. That's okay. And we're going to start filling it with the details now. So first I'm going to need the tabs that are going to, okay, so let me control Z. Okay. We're going to need the tabs where one fills the form. So just click here and add this section. I think this is fine. I'll have it have corners of 10. And then I think the shade is okay. Yes, this shade is just fine. And I'm going to have this one first before name. So I'll add a text for name. I don't want it to be in bold, and I want it to be a very tiny text, so we can try 20. I think 20 is perfect. An SVG here, but first let me just make this into the color that I want, which is this color right here, and I'll just copy the color and I'll go to this section for the plugins, the material design icons, and I'll look for user, but first I'll put in the color that I want. So let me go to custom and set this. Yes, and here I'll search for user. So I expected other user icons. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, it's just taking a minute, which is fine. So I like that, but I think I want to go with this one. So that's okay. It rendered it as an image, which is fine. I'll just scale it down a bit and place this here. So I don't want it to be too large. I'll scale it down again. I feel like this is okay. Yeah, so just click shift, and then group this, and then Control C and P. Get the next one. So this one is going to be called email, and then the next one I'm going to have is going to be for message. Sorry. So I have this here. It's going to be for message. Yes, that's it. I want to extend this. I'll specifically click on the rectangle. Okay, that's where I want to extend, and I think that's fine. I can maybe drag this outside a bit. Make sure they're equal in length. And then I can bring this up a bit because we need to make space for the button as well. So I think that is okay. Now we just need to find similar icons for the email and message. So go to plugins and just look for email and message. Email, and then message. Just click on it. So this is fine with me. So you can find both have been rendered. So under email, I'll just delete this one, and under message, I'll delete that one, and I'll just begin to drag in the ones that I need. So I'll drag this in. I don't really, it's fine. I can just make this smaller. I'm trying to make it just as small as the other icon that I have. And that is okay. Let me just drag this one here. Shift. Make it smaller. yeah, and then we can now regroup these things again. So just click group, and then this and this group. Yeah, that's it for that section. The next thing I want to do is bring an image here. We can first put in a text that says, "We can't wait to hear from you." We can make it bold, and I'd like it in the color that we put in the icons. I think it was this shade, and I'll have it in 30 for the font size. To hear from you, and I'll place it here. I think in that way it's not too overpowering. And then next I want an image, so we'll go back to Undraw and we'll enter contact. So we're going to download this one, and as an SVG, then we'll go back to Figma and we'll just paste it there. So I want to flip this, so I'll click Shift and H. That means we're flipping it horizontally, and then I'll scale it down, Shift and then one of the corners, and then I'll bring it inside the frame, just like that. So I need to make it as small as it needs to be to fit in this space. Okay, this is fine. There you go. Seems okay, but I want to change the color just to match what I already have. So I'll click on the shirt and make it the same shade of orange as I have in this website. The different oranges to choose from, I think I prefer this one, so I'll just copy that one. So I'll click that, click this, and this one here, this color I'm going to change to that. Now they're all the same shade of orange. For this circle here, I'll have blue, the navy blue, and then here I'll use the same green that I used for the leaves on top, just for uniformity. And I think that image is complete. All we're missing now is a button, so I'm going to create that by creating a rectangle shape here. I'll have it rounded, so the border radius is going to be 50. That's okay. I'm going to scale it down a bit, and so I'll just take this, place it at the center here, have it in navy blue, this shade here, because if you've noticed, I'm just trying to repeat colors to make it more uniform. And then here I'll write submit, but we can't see it because it's in blue, so I'll make it in white. It's already not open. Then I'll just drag it here, so we can't see it because the rectangle is all the way at the top. So submit, let's just place it here to make it appear on top of the button. That's it. It's well aligned. Shift, Ctrl G, we've grouped, and that is our contact us section. Very neat, tidy, and very easy to use. So this is what we have so far: the home page, the about us section, our services section, contact us form and page. Lastly, all we need is a footer, and we're done. So I click this just to elongate it again and make it longer, and I want to repeat an element that is already on this page, so I'm going to click Ctrl C for this background, the vector, and then V, Ctrl V. Now I want to flip it vertically, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift V, and I've flipped it. That's good enough. We just need to make it enter this frame, so I'll just drag it here, and That's it. That is going to be the frame. So when you look at it from here, it's as though this upper section is supposed to meet this lower section, because you see they're facing opposite directions. And next, I'm just going to add the footer. So I'll have contact us details. So I'll just add the words contact us, and then I'll just add some text, like the website is called Argo, so it's going to be like Argo Manager at gmail.com. But I don't want this to be in bold, so I'll say Ctrl B, and I want it to be just smaller, so maybe around 25. That's better. It is under contact us. Just Ctrl C and V. I want to remove this link there. The link is now deleted. So Ctrl C and V. Okay. Now I'll just add another text here, and it's going to read PO Box. Some random numbers, and I'll copy that and put in a random place. So that's the contact us part. I want to group this, but first I need to make sure they are very nicely aligned. So grouped, and I'll just post. So this one is supposed to be contact us. This is just going to be links. I'll have the home part, about us, and the contact for the services. So we just have one more part. For that section, we're calling it updates. And launches, schedule, and announcement. Lastly, you can just group everything together. Shift and click all of the items, and then control group, just control G to group. And that's it. We'll just center it. And that is going to be our footer section. And that is going to be our footer section. So that is our complete website. This is the home page. Actually, let me just close this layer. So this is the home page. This is the about us section, the our services section, the contact us section, and the footer, and it generally looks like that. So thank you. That's been this week's design. I'm looking forward to developing this and actually rendering it as a web application.